Absolutely, absolutely. So my teachers in Peru, they speak about the Pachacuti. So they change, there's this great turning that's like a process been going on. And this is exactly the time we're supposed to be in. This is exactly the time for transformation. And my teachers speak about that until now, it's kind of like we could, yeah, maybe I do it or not. And now it's like kind of, we are all in this big room of transformation. It's kind of like, this is the time. This is the time. And we are also, and this is what I feel in my own work on myself, but also when I work with others, that we are very much supported from a lot of forces. Let's put it this way. We are very much supported at the moment. And it's this shift of the masculine to the more feminine, which is also, you know, what you're giving the container with this amazing summit, and what is the work you are doing that's so dear to your heart too. So this is the time. Yes, absolutely.
Hi, ladies. So we continue in our summit, the Wounds to Wings Summit, and I have a dear friend close to my heart, sister, Iris Wangermann. She, oh my God, you're going to fall in love with her. You listen to what she has to bring to the party. She is a graduate psychologist. She's German-Austrian. She's a soul gardener, bridge builder, peace researcher, mover and shaker in Cologne, Germany. She's an expert in ancestral trauma, transformation in nature, and love sleeping under the stars. And she didn't tell me to tell you this, but she has recently been in Peru. So her soul has expanded even more. Iris, I am so delighted to have you with us.
Thank you so much, dear Blanca. It's such an honor and such a deep, deep pleasure to be part of your summit. And I love so much what you're doing. And it's I feel really honored to be part of this and to bring this message of trauma transformation into the world.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much, Iris. Well, the first question is precisely that. I read that you're just German-Austrian and psychologist. And I just go back to Second World War, and I think of your mother, your grandmother, and then you're working on trauma, and I get the goosebumps about it. And what's the story behind? And I think everybody's curious, and we love origin stories. What brought you here? And you can start wherever you want.
Yeah, thank you so much, Blanca. Yes, so I'm German-Austrian, and I'm born 1975. So my parents were children during World War II. And I experienced a quite traumatic transition into adulthood. And there basically my healing journey started. So first, I started with the usual therapies, and very fast I reached a point where I saw I needed to go further. I needed to better understand what is blocking me, why all this heavy, dense energy on me. And so I started to explore all different modalities, and wherever I went, systemic constellation, body work, and then later also transformation work in nature, working with energies, I found out the root cause are the war traumas that had been my parents carrying, and that came from my grandparents. And actually, at the end of the day, if we look back, there have been thousands of years of war that we also as a collective have been going through. So yeah, so this is kind of where this all started. And I became kind of like the family detective to find out. And especially also, I had this urge to transform, because I realized I thought it can't be possible that life was meant this way. You know, why all this heaviness, this dense energy, this difficulties, also as a woman to move forward and to really come into a place of a meaningful life. I thought it's not possible. And so many times I've heard people telling me, yeah, you have to live with this, you know, whatever it was, being depressed. And I never believed that. There must have been some force in me that said, no, you just have to keep searching. And yeah, basically, after a long journey, and I'm still discovering myself, of course,
Let me
yeah.
stop you.
Yes.
I get again, we've been talking about this, you and I, and the audience, I get all these goosebumps in the right-hand side of my arm when you say, this is not the way we have to live. We have, or the opposite, no? That people say that we have to live this way. And I really want to put light on that sentence, because this is what the entire conference, the entire summit is all about. We have thousands of years of war separation, war between genders, war between races, war between countries, this is so stupid. It doesn't need to be that way. And we can't change it. We can't.
Yes. Yes, and it needs an inner transformation. And also, I think also looking at I mean, we do not need to discuss that what my grandparents' generation did during World War II, these atrocities. It's just this. I mean, in school, you know, we, since like sixth grade, we were presented with pictures of the Holocaust and so on, you know, and every year in history in German, and it was good, you know, and kind of to come to the point to say, hey, we need to break through this chain, because it causes it causes inner wars. These heavy dense energy cause inner wars, and everything that's inside is what I'm also projecting outwards. So these inner wars create these outer wars, and so where can I stop them? I need to start inside myself. And this is where I need to transform them. Yes. Yeah.
Oh, wow. It's so important what you're saying. This is so important. Instead of looking out there at the politicians and the generals and the, I don't know, corporate psychopaths, blaming, you know, like, oh, the finger is pointing there, but these three fingers are pointing at us, taking this responsibility.
I mean, this is for me, you know, at the end of the day, is taking back my power, because I can't change the person. I mean, this is maybe one of the realizations from the systemic family constellation, which I love, but it's just a tiny part of my work. But this, like, if I change in the system I'm in, then the system will shift too. And so this is taking back my power and saying, okay, what does it have to do with me, and how can I shift and change? Yes.
I believe that, correct me if I'm wrong, in your ancestry, you have both sides of the struggle of the Second World War, correct?
Yes. So basically from my well, yeah. So from my Austrian side, my grandfather has been heavily involved in the Nazi atrocities, but at the same time, he had a Jewish father and an absent father who wasn't there. So it's like, you know, just to kind of to bring this together in your psyche or in your soul. This is kind of like, you know, this can drive you mad, you know, or you go and try to figure out everything that is lying dormant. And then on my father's side, my father, he grew, when my grandmother was in her 9 months pregnant with my father, she got the call that, not the call, this message that her husband died in Russia in the war. And like a week later, Leipzig, where she lived, was bombarded. So it was ice cold winter. And you know what happens? There's no food, no electricity, no water, death everywhere, and you're 9 months pregnant. You know, and imagine we know nowadays what it means. The baby, of course, experiences everything that the mother is experiencing. So this is kind of, you know, these um, these traumas that then find their way into the family. And so, yeah, I had like when I was 15 or so, I started to get these really weird dreams and these really weird emotional states that were referring directly to my Austrian grandfather, looking back. And so it was kind of like the wake up call. And I guess there is in every family, there seems to be one person at least that kind of like says, okay, I came here with this task of, you know, transforming all the dense and heavy energy in the family. And I guess that was me.
What was that? Dreams about your grandfather? Was it fears or memories?
Yeah, well, yeah, it was. Yeah, it's a little difficult to explain, but it was around a certain date where, because when my grandfather came back from war, he was 15 years. He was in prison in Russia. My Austrian grandfather.
Wow.
Yes, and when he came back, he had to go because he was guilty of some uh, of I mean, yeah, it was related. He was guilty of something, and it was related to a certain date, and nobody talked about it in the family. This is also what is very common when I work with my people. This is the stories that I also hear. You don't talk about these things. And then but I started to have, around this exact date, I started to have these dreams, and I thought I was going crazy or something. So I was, you know, you can't, if it's in the system, you pick it, someone is going to pick it up. And so this is what happened. And this then led also to my whole journey.
Yeah, this is so incredible. I found the same patterns in my family. In my family, the subject was rape, and the subject was, the date was 14 years old. So around 14 years old, the trauma will explode. It was like, even if it did not happen to the woman, it was the memory will come back of the mother, grandmother. And recently, I was reading specifically about the subject of trauma that is related to a date or an age, and it could be related to the uncle or to the. It doesn't have to be a woman. It doesn't have to be female lineage, but it can work like that.
Yeah.
So we have a more or less clear picture of the wounds. I would like you to bring us to the wings. It feels to me very clear that you are the one who is called to do the healing in this family and in possibly in your region. And I don't know how the ripple effects will be, but I don't know. When did you go from I have healed myself to I can heal others, or how you're moving that transition? Maybe even how do you feel that we all, as our generation, should be doing that?
Yes. So yeah. So basically, I personally feel that I'm more a space holder or a facilitation of spaces where people can transform their wounding. And it actually happened 2013, after all of these years of inner work, I came to a point where I was called to do a vision fast in nature. So where you go out fasting 4 days and nights and let go of your old story, because I had this, I was very involved in nature-based transformation work, because it's just for me that was the biggest realization and the biggest connection and the biggest healing for me, to be reconnected with Mother Nature. So I was involved in the vision fast work, and so I was called during one of these. I had a dream that I need to come and find a new name. I was called to the forest and to call for my new name, and then asking my teachers, they said, well, you should do a vision fast. And then I did another vision fast where you go out fasting, and it was in Death Valley. And so I let go of my old story there. And back, and I realized the drama is gone. You know, the drama of the trauma drama for my story is gone. And then in this vision fast, I let go of the story, and then it was born the work that I'm doing now, that I call now Peace with Your Past, and that I'm to support German or Austrian women of my generation, so about 50 years old at the moment, whose parents had been to war, to transform their trauma. And I do this with also with nature-based transformation work and vision fasting. And so.
Oh, wow, this is so beautiful. This is so beautiful. It is so interesting. Part of my big healing also happened in the southwest of the US. That's why I found it really interesting that you were in Death Valley. It's like like live cathedrals there. It's a holy place. Ah, wow, how beautiful. And the idea of fasting, just to release the need from eating. Oh, beautiful.
Yeah, so just letting go.
Do you feel that, I mean, we have been through, after 2 years of these astonishing events, that now is the time for healing? Do you think that there is any relationship that now we need to hold the space for others, for ourselves, awaken our inner healer? Is it the time?
Absolutely, absolutely. So my teachers in Peru, they speak about the Pachacuti. So there's this great turning that's like a process been going on, and this is exactly the time we're supposed to be in. This is exactly the time for transformation. And my teachers speak about that until now, it's kind of like we could, maybe I do it or not. And now it's like kind of, we are all in this big room of transformation. It's kind of like, this is the time. And we are also, and this is what I feel in my own work on myself, but also when I work with others, that we are very much supported from a lot of forces. Let's put it this way. We are very much supported at the moment. And it's this shift of the masculine to the more feminine, which is also, what you're giving the container with this amazing summit, and what is the work you are doing that's so dear to your heart too. So this is the time. Yes, absolutely.
And what I love is that you do it with nature. That's just Mother Nature, Pachamama, our great mother, Oh, I get the goosebumps with every single thing that you say. So powerful. So you were talking about this time of fasting and how you heal yourself and how you. I love that you say that you are a space holder and you don't call yourself a healer. It's so beautiful, but I want to go in the direction of rites of passage. I perceive that what you are doing is holding the space for people to be in this rite of passage. But what is that? Tell us what the rite of passage is and why that's important.
Yes. So I think it has existed in all cultures all over the globe, and you can find it in, in I think in all indigenous cultures. But it also happened in our culture. It's coming back. So there are modern rites of passage, and basically what the important thing is, like, usually when we in our linear mind thinking, we always think we need to run from A to B, and if we run faster, then we get there faster. But this rites of passage is more, it's more a circular
Cyclical.
way. So it's more the idea of like giving life you stop for a second and you get really empty, and to give life the opportunity to reflect back on you. What is your next step? But before we do this, we need to empty, we need to let go of the and quite practically, so I try to put it in words so that it's understandable. Quite practically is, before you go, you have a preparation phase. You clean your house, you have all of these conversations that needs to be said, everything that needs to be cleared and closed. It's about closing this old cycle. And then you have also maybe talks with people who are not there anymore, but where there's something open, and especially in the German, Austrian, and there's between the generations, there's so much misunderstanding. And as the children children during World War II, there's such an emotional hole, and that sometimes the parent unconsciously try to fill this with their own children, and then the children get all confused about, and it's just this where everything gets so having these conversations, maybe even just sitting in nature, so closing, and this sets a whole process, an inner process starts. And then this time in nature. So I do like a simple format that's also doable for people in our cities or modern life, whatever that is. So I do just a 24-hour fasting instead of the 4 days. And then the time out, you are in between your stories, so to speak. And in this space, you get so many answers from Mother Nature. And basically, it's your human nature being in a dialogue with the Great Spirit or with Mother Nature. And so, of course, there are certain rituals and things that you do. And this is where the answers come, not from the ego, not from the mind, but deep within your soul. It's like the soul. And usually we do not get access to our soul so easily because, we have to, and the ego is there. There's nothing wrong with it. But, so it's really this getting an understanding about, and the beauty of this is also that it's about finding meaning of your story. So if you had a tragic, challenging childhood, there is a treasure to be found in this. This is the way you were shaped. This is I call it finding your soul pearl. This is the pearl that in the shell that grows because the sensitive skin of the shell gets irritation, a wound, and then the pearl grows out of this. So this is what's happening. You find meaning in your old story, and you get the treasures out of the wounding and the magnificent being that you have become because of that, and then answers come. And there's a deeper understanding of your path and who you want to become. And it's, and then you go out and then you integrate, of course, and you bring this into life, hopefully. And this is what I support with the whole process.
Wow. I love it. I love it. Yeah, this connects so well with psychology, the idea of how we see what we see outside is our mess, that is our mess within. And this cleaning is not cleaning your house, what is cleaning your psyche, and having these conversations is also cleaning. I love the idea that that's the first step. It's so powerful, so powerful. Would you say that that would be your, if somebody in the audience is listening to you, what would you, and they feel triggered to be that healer of their own family system, what would be your advice? What would you tell them?
I would encourage them to, well, and also to, maybe I put it a little wrong. So it's about healing yourself. You do not have to carry, this is also an important step in between, and I put it a little wrong. So you do not have to carry the weight of the, it's also about, you know, what is mine, what is not mine, you know, giving back what is not yours, and just, you know, you have yours and that's enough. And I would deeply encourage every woman, and also man who are watching, to have the courage. And it can also be easy, you know, the process can also be easy. It doesn't have to be tens of years going down this rabbit hole of trauma and drama and everything. And in these times, it can be really, it can be an easy process. And to have the courage and to get this weight off your shoulders, and you always do it, that's the beauty, you always do it not only for yourself, but also for the people who've come before, and also for the next generation, so that you do not pass it on. And so it's liberating for yourself, and then for the family and the whole system. And it gives you a deeper meaning, and it gives you a more soulful life. This is, so I want to encourage everyone.
Oh, it is so beautiful. It is so beautiful. I really loved your story. Thank you very much for sharing that so vulnerable and so private story. It's so inspiring to me. It is so inspiring. I'm sure that the audience is going to feel the same. We're reaching our time together, the end of our time together. So I would like to ask you to connect with your intuition and to feel what could be your last words for the audience. What do they need to hear from you?
Yeah, I want to invite everyone to remember that you are all divine light, and that you are worthy and of love, of unconditional love, and that you are supported. Yes, yes.
Oh my God, this is so beautiful. I'm so delighted that you joined us in this conference. Thank you very much for being here, Iris. Thank you very much, everybody. And well, we continue forward. Did you enjoy this? Here is a selection of other videos that I feel you will love. And please don't forget to subscribe, to like, and to share. Love and light.